Are you struggling to afford health care and medications? Let Health First help you. Whether you are insured, uninsured, or underinsured, you will still be cared for at Health First Community Health Center. We offer financial and prescription assistance to all those that qualify, which is based on income and household size. Contact our office at 1-877-667-7017 for more information, or visit our website, healthfirstchc.net. Same-day appointments and walk-ins are welcome. At Health First, your health is our first concern.
Local businesses have supported us in every regard. Now it's our turn to support them.
At the Edge Media Group, we believe that 2021 will be the start of the greatest comeback of all time. You truly made a difference in 2020 as you chose to support local and to rally behind our local businesses, clubs, organizations, and communities. We choose hope, and we're asking you to join us to motivate, inspire, and support others as we seek to not only survive, but to actually thrive. We believe that our communities can make the comeback stronger than the setback. It starts with supporting local. It is sustained by being positive and extending kindness. Please continue your extra efforts to support local. And thank you from the Edge Media Group for being a part of the greatest comeback of all time. You are making a difference.
The Edge Media Group encourages you to support local. Be sure to post what you're doing to show your support. #SupportLocal.
Big deals. Have you been to Big Deal Store yet? Go to WPKYOnline.com and click on Loyal Listener Big Deals. The other day, I redeemed a gift certificate on my smartphone. It was so easy. Thanks to Loyal Listener Big Deals, I found new places to eat, have fun, take the family out, and get my car fixed. With Loyal Listener Big Deals, you can save money and try new businesses. Go to WPKYOnline.com. But you better hurry. You never know how long each deal will last.
It's time to watch the big game in big style. Enter to win the Herb Hayes Furniture Big Game Big Comfort Giveaway. You might just win the $770 prize pack. Head over to WPKYOnline.com to enter today. Winner announced February 2nd.
Anticipating a tax refund? Need a ride? Then head to U-Ride and get a great tax refund deal. U-Ride has a sales team with over 30 years experience ready to work for you, serving your vehicle needs from start to finish, and they can do it all online without losing that personalized hometown feel. They offer on-the-lot financing, and you can apply safely online at uridesales.com. Call for your appointment and bring your tax refund for a great deal at U-Ride on the Marion Road, Princeton, 270-365-3018.
Join the Southern Lanes MVP Club at yoursportsedge.com. Inside sports info, regional sports history, and a weekly sports quiz where you could win MVP prizes from Southern Lanes at yoursportsedge.com. Become an MVP today. Southern Lanes MVP Club at yoursportsedge.com.
It's time for your SportsEdge.com Sideline Report with Todd Griffin. Talking sports and more here on 1580, 103.3 WPKY and worldwide at WPKYOnline.com. Here's your host, Todd Griffin.
Good morning, everyone. The Sideline Report is on the air from 1035 West Main Street in Princeton. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Got a busy show, as always, lined up for you on the Sideline Report for this Thursday morning. Coming up in just a matter of minutes, we'll be talking to longtime UK sports writer Larry Vaught and get his opinion on everything from the University of Kentucky sports-wise. So lots of things going on this week. Some big football news out. Of course, the basketball team, always something to talk about. So Larry Vaught is going to be on the show a little bit later, just a few minutes away, so stay tuned for that. And then even after that this morning, Misty Porter from Caldwell County Youth Incorporated will be here. She'll be talking about the basketball leagues and plans maybe for baseball, softball, and t-ball coming up this summer for Youth Incorporated. So you'll want to stick around for that right here on WPKY this morning. Coming up tonight, we've got basketball action on the air from the Cab Gym. The Caldwell County Tigers hosting the Webster County Trojans tonight. Varsity action about 7:30. You can listen to that game right here on 1580 AM, 103.3 FM. And you can watch our free live video stream at WPKYonline.com tonight. So if you can't make it to the game, you can still watch right here at WPKYonline.com. Doesn't cost you anything. Just pull it up on the internet and be able to watch the Tigers take on the Webster County Trojans at the Cab. Girls action tonight has the Lady Tigers going to Murray. That's a bit of a change in the schedule. At one point, the Lady Tigers were going to make up a game over at Madisonville North Hopkins tonight, but that date has been pushed back now for a second time. So the Lady Tigers have picked up a game at Murray. First time in about 15 years that Caldwell County and Murray have played in girls basketball. Caldwell's girls only have one win ever over Murray. That was about 40 years ago, so a chance for the Lady Tigers of Caldwell County to make some history tonight when they go to Murray. As always, before you head to the games, especially this year, make sure you double-check the start times. Make sure that you double-check that the game is still on, because with COVID protocols, sometimes the schedules change at the last moment, so always make sure to double-check. And, of course, if there are any schedule changes, we will try to pass them along to you right here on WPKY and put those out on social media as well, so you can keep up with the Caldwell County Tigers and Lady Tigers. Again, our broadcast tonight will be the boys game against Webster County. That's a home game tonight out at the Cab Gym. 7:30 tip-off, somewhere thereabout. We'll be on the air at 7 o'clock tonight on 1580 AM, 103.3 FM, and watch at WPKYonline.com. Back with more as we continue on the Sideline Report after this on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
Willow Pond in Eddyville is famous for their delicious fish, white beans, and hush puppies. Something you may not know about Willow Pond is that you can purchase all your favorites in large quantities to feed any number of people. This is perfect for family gatherings, the holidays, and corporate events or parties. Let Willow Pond make your life easier and your event delicious. Just contact Willow Pond of Eddyville for details and pricing. Willow Pond of Eddyville.
Trice Hughes wants your vehicle to last as long as possible. It's getting cooler, and that brings on the yellow light on your dash. Tire pressure. When the temperature drops, so does your tire pressure. This can cause a warning. Stop by Trice Hughes, and they'll check your tires and get rid of that stubborn light.
Trice Hughes is here for you and any questions you may have about your vehicle. Buy your next vehicle from the home team. Find them on Highway 91 North, Princeton, or at tricehughes.com.
Get ready for a big auction this Saturday with West Kentucky Real Estate and Auction. Auction-style live on-site bidding. Selling will be furniture, tools, antiques, collectibles. Starts at 9 a.m. this Saturday. Come check it out. Held inside, plenty of seating, large parking lot, and lots of fun. Clean restrooms and fast-paced live bidding. See you Saturday morning at 9 a.m. at the West Kentucky Real Estate and Auction Center, located at 2216 Highway 62 West, Princeton, Kentucky. Find out more at westkentuckyrealestate.com.
Traveling the Bluegrass with host Alan Watts has another busy week. Alan, where are you traveling this week?
We discuss the highlights of the American Farm Bureau Convention with State President Mark Haney. Talk with top national corn grower Kevin Hayden from Kentucky. We talk with Pulaski County farmer Joel Wilson about growing vegetables and produce. Visit with international rodeo competitor Vanessa Madison and meet Hart County farmer Brad Hines.
That's Traveling the Bluegrass weekdays around 6 a.m. and after the WPKY Noon News Edge.
At your WPKY News Edge, experience matters. Tammy Hancock.
I think you still want the radio news, because if you're on your way home or you're in your car, you know, it's just easier for you to turn on the radio and get the latest local news and updates.
Join us for your WPKY News Edge, weekdays at 6:30, 7:30, noon, and 5 p.m., and news when you want it at WPKYonline.com.
Back on the Sideline Report here at 1580, 103.3 WPKY. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Joining us on the phone now, Larry Vaught, longtime UK sports writer. And Larry, good morning. Thanks again for coming on the show today.
No problem, Todd. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And, it kind of seems like you've been on already this morning because we had Vaught's Views about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. And I enjoy working with Tom Rogers and putting those together each week. In fact, when we get through here, that's what I'll be doing later this morning.
Yeah, I think the last time that you were on this show, you were actually in Nashville for the SEC tournament that never quite got finished.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It was one of those weird kind of times you never imagined happening, and it did. And now I'm sitting here wondering if there will be a SEC tournament this year or not. I know the SEC sent out some information yesterday that they are still planning at this time on having a tournament, but I still just wonder when you get a week before the NCAA tournament, with the emphasis is going to be on making sure teams are safe and healthy and ready to play in the NCAA, how prudent it's going to be to bring 10, 12, 14 teams together in any conference the week before you're wanting to have teams healthy to play in the NCAA. So I guess we'll just wait and see.
Well, how weird has it been trying to cover sports this year? Because I know a lot of people are trying to do it remotely or watching monitors or those kind of things. So it's just been a different year.
It has. It's been different, I think, is the best way to describe it. I think I've probably watched more UK and high school sports than I ever have before, because there's so much more remote access now. There's so many live streams of especially the high school games. I know I've watched far more high school games than I ever did when I went out and watched in person. I hadn't watched any in person, but you can click on every night, it seems like, and I can find 1, 2, and 3 games to watch. So I've enjoyed being able to see so many different teams play. And then with Kentucky, it really, my job is almost easier now, because instead of making the drive to go to the arena and fighting the crowd and setting up in the upper deck and making your way down and trying to get into the press conference, now I just sit here in the living room, have all the concessions that I want. You watch the game on TV, I can rerun it. I've still got access to all the stats after the game. Everything is done by Zoom, so even if you're sitting in the arena, you're not in the actual press conference. You have no more access than I do sitting here at home. So in some ways, it's made that part of the job easier for me.
Yeah, going back to the SEC tournament last March, I don't think I was ever prepared to hear that it had been canceled. And, of course, that kind of set the tone for, almost a year now, and we're still kind of dealing with the same things.
Yeah, and still really no end in sight. That's the really discouraging thing. I mean, I can remember thinking in March, well, it's just bad enough that we've lost the basketball tournament when the NCAA tournament got canceled. But I said, at least, football will be here in August and everything will be good, but then they'll have all this stuff figured out. And who would have ever thought still now we'd be going through all that we are and limiting high school athletics the way that it has. I mean, I know in Michigan, they paused the football season for 2 months and just got finished with their high school football playoffs. And West Virginia, I don't think they've even started basketball yet. And I know now here in Danville, Center College is getting ready to start football practice today, and they play their first game in a couple of weeks. So we're going to have February football in Danville for the first time.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy. And talked to the guys from Murray State just a couple of weeks ago, and I guess it's still the 2020 season, even though it's going to be February of 2021.
Yeah, it's just kind of insane. I'm actually hoping to find a way that I can attend one of the home games that Center has here, so that just one time I can say I went and watched a February football game in Kentucky.
Just a random thought, though, on the Center football team coming up. I believe it's the 100th anniversary of the big upset over Harvard, right?
I think that is correct. It's also about 100 years ago when the Center basketball team beat Kentucky, something like 87-17, the worst loss that the Kentucky basketball has suffered. And sure, that won't be one record that Kentucky will break this year.
Well, and that's something Center is going to have to commemorate some way, this upcoming season.
Yeah, they certainly will. That's still a pretty big deal at Center. When, in fact, if you happen to be around in there and somebody comes for a campus visit and the host is taking them around, showing them the different things, they always point out where you can still read the score of Center 6, Harvard 0, painted on the building wall, and the plaques that are up commemorating that. So even now, that's something that's talked about a lot on the Center campus.
Yeah, still considered one of the biggest upsets in college football history.
Yeah, absolutely, and should be. That's a game that nobody thought Center had a chance, and went and won. And Happy Chandler brought the game ball back to Center College for them, and it was a pretty amazing story.
Speaking of football, some big UK football news this week. I want to start with the late John Schlarman being named the 2020 Kentucky Sports Figure of the Year. And Larry, usually when I vote in that, it's a really painstaking process to come up with that number one. But this year, I thought it was pretty easy.
Yeah, if you let your heart get involved at all, it was really easy to pick John Schlarman. There were several good candidates, as always. I mean, I really liked Asia Sight, the swimmer at UK, who was named the NCAA Woman of the Year. I mean, when you're named the NCAA Woman of the Year, that's pretty darn impressive to me. But John Schlarman's, the legacy that he's leaving behind, and this 2020 season, or 2020 year that's been so up and down, the inspiration he provided and the fight that he had, and the fact that he just didn't let cancer stop him, that he kept going right till the very end. I think he was a very, very fitting and deserving winner, and that's just one more way that his memory and legacy will stay with us for a lot longer.
Yeah, to me, the lasting memory from the 2020 sports season was seeing UK come out and line up without a left guard. I mean, that was just, to me, that was the moment of the year.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most touching moments that I've seen in my many years of covering sports. So I think for me, it will be that, or John Schlarman celebrating with his offensive linemen after Kentucky won at Tennessee in what turned out to be John's last game with the team. So when I combine those two, it kind of makes my allergies act up a little bit.
Well, and John was a big part of the success of UK because he was the one that kind of paved the way for that running game that they really had to rely on this past season.
Yeah, he built what we now call the Big Blue Wall, and just think back for how many years that the theory was that you could never win football games at Kentucky with a strong running game or a strong defense because you couldn't recruit the linemen to do either one of those things, that you had to have a trick offense like what Hal Mummy had and had some success with, but you just couldn't have just a power attack and win at Kentucky. And John Schlarman has certainly shown and built an offensive line that you could do that with, and has left an offensive line for the new coach that he can do that with. I mean, leaving behind All-American Darren Kennard and Drake Jackson and Landon Young, both made All-SEC teams this year in their final year at UK. So it's just pretty remarkable what John has done. It just tells you how much guys enjoyed playing for him, that they were able to do what they did.
Yeah, coaching always plays a big part in a lot of it. I know with college sports you have to get those guys there, but at some point they have to be coached up too.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And those guys wanted to come play for John, and they wanted to be coached by John. He was their friend, but he could also be tough as heck on them on the field, but do it in a way that they all respected and really liked. And I'm just not sure any of us will totally ever be able to understand what all those young men on the team, and also the coaches that coached with John and knew him so well, what they all went through this year with his illness and with his loss. I think we can kind of think we know, but I think unless you were there with them, it's just impossible to understand what they had to go through, and for them to still do what they did, I think was pretty remarkable, because I think at points their emotions were pretty well drained.
Well, and give Mark Stoops some credit for the staffs he's been able to put together and the way they've been able to recruit players and become extremely competitive in the SEC.
Yeah, they have. I mean, with the schedule that just came out, and you catch yourself looking at it and you're thinking, well, I think they could win 8, 9. If this thing goes great, they might win 10. I've seen some people talking about, well, yeah, the worst-case scenario is 7 and 5, and who would ever thought we would be to the point where you look at a Kentucky football schedule and you say, well, I think the worst they can do is win 7. I mean, that's just pretty remarkable thinking if you go back and just think what it was like even 10 years ago.
Yeah, as a long-suffering UK football fan, I can remember just trying to find 6 wins so that they could go to a bowl game.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And if they got to 6, you were just tickled to death and glad they were going to go to a bowl. But Mark Stoops has certainly taken that to a much, much higher level. I think Rich Brooks kind of laid that foundation with more expectations, and then it kind of got away there for a few years with Joker Phillips. When Mark first got here, he didn't inherit a very talented team, but now he's put that back where that expectation, that bar has really been raised. It's really fun to watch and see what those coaches have done. I think Mark has also done it in a way and related with fans in a way that they all really like and really enjoy. So it's been a really nice ride, and I don't think it's anywhere close to ending.
Speaking of the upcoming football schedule for the 2021 season, to me the best part of the upcoming schedule is it does not have 10 SEC games on it. You know, that's a brutal stretch whoever you have to play.
Yes, it certainly is, and if hopefully this schedule will hold where they will get the 4 non-conference games. I kind of got tickled with people last night talking about what a grind it's going to be. That Kentucky's got 7 straight SEC games with no bye week, and I thought, well, heck, they played 10 straight this year and managed to do and survive it. So 7 will probably seem like a piece of cake when you do it. Plus, they'll have a couple of non-conference games that they will have played to get them ready for that SEC stretch instead of having to open up with Auburn, a team that I still think Kentucky was better than this year, but where they'd open up with them with no other preparation just didn't work out that way for them. So, but I like the way the schedule sets up, and I don't think you'll hear Mark Stoops or anybody on his staff complaining about it.
Yeah, those non-conference games early, they're almost like scrimmages in high school. And I think we saw this year that some high school teams kind of struggled early in the season because they didn't get that early chance to get out there and kind of get a feel for what they were doing.
That's exactly right. And this next season, Kentucky gets, I think, opens with Louisiana Monroe, and then they have to play Missouri, which is obviously a conference game, but that game is in Lexington, and I think it'll be a very winnable game for Kentucky. Then you get another non-conference game, then you start those 7 SEC games in a row. So, again, the season, if all falls in place, could go really, really well for Kentucky because they've got a lot of really nice pieces coming back.
Well, hopefully by the time we get to the fall of 2021, maybe some of the COVID things will look a whole lot better, and we can have what amounts to normal sports seasons.
Yeah, I think we all need that. We just need normal anything. I think right now it's been a long last almost 11 months now, and
right.
I don't think anybody's thought this would still be going on, but it is, and it's still going to be a while before it's over. But just hope we can get through high school basketball the best that we can, and college basketball. I know there's been a lot of high school games have to be canceled, but I don't want to lose track of the fact there's also been a lot that have still been able to be played. I think that's what we need to remember.
Oh, that's absolutely right, because a story came out the other day that said 25% of the high school basketball games had been canceled for COVID reasons, but that means we've played 75% of the games. So, at this point in time, that's a positive.
That's right. 75% is a whole lot better than 0%. So
absolutely.
I will take that because I know there was a time I didn't think there would be any football season at all. So I know there were some disruptions and all like that, but still able to get through the high school season. We were able to crown state champions. Colleges got through their season, and now I'm hoping the basketball can do the same. And then maybe in spring sports, hopefully things will be even a little bit better.
Speaking of basketball, and I guess the big question right now, what's going on with the UK men's basketball team?
Well, it's not hard for me. I mean, they're just not very good. I mean, they don't shoot the ball outside very well. They don't have a point guard or anybody on the team that can really go by anybody off the dribble and just get a basket, and they don't have a low post presence. So when you have all of those issues on offense, it's just hard to win. I mean, their defense has been pretty solid almost all year, maybe the first half against Alabama. When Alabama was just on fire in the first game they played them, you could fault their defense. But most of the rest of the season, the defense has been pretty good. It's just when you can't get past 65 points in most games, it's just hard to win in college. Alabama had a terrible offensive night. They went almost 10 minutes the second half Tuesday and didn't score, only had 1 3-point goal the entire second half, and yet still managed to get to 70 points, which was more than enough to beat Kentucky. So it's just a frustrating offensive season for Kentucky, and that's why I mean, I know John Calipari keeps talking about they're going to get it going, and he still has to say he thinks they can rebound and salvage his season. But when you can't score, even you and I can figure out that it's pretty hard to win.
Right. Well, is it a case of where Calipari just missed with this recruiting class, or do they just not gel together somehow?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think the pieces just don't fit together like what you thought. I think he doesn't have near the player at point guard that he's used to having. And I think sometimes what happens with recruiting, I mean, each year the talent level is different within a recruiting class. Like the 2018 recruiting class may be a whole lot better than 2020 recruiting class. That's not a coach's fault. But then even in those recruiting classes, like when Kentucky has the number one class, it almost always seems like as soon as a player commits to Kentucky or signs with Kentucky, his ranking just immediately shoots up. And I think maybe some of these guys Kentucky has this year are just a little bit, or maybe a whole lot, overrated and not as good as what the rankings indicated they would be. And then when you put that together with the fact that they just don't gel or seem to fit together very well, and the fact that John Calipari just continues not to put a huge emphasis on shooting when he recruits guys, and I think this year all that has just caught up with him.
Well, I agree about the recruiting rankings. I've thought for a long time that once a Kentucky or a Duke or a Kansas or North Carolina gets in on a guy, you see his recruiting rankings go up. So it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy when those teams have, the top recruiting classes.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's just kind of I guess everybody, all the recruiting analysts like to make sure they have those guys, those blue bloods, ranked high so that they turn out really good. They don't look like they missed out on them that way. And if they don't turn out good, they can just say, well, the coaches didn't do what they were supposed to with them. But I know that and it's even funny now. I've talked to some coaches on the high school level that I talked to about B.J. Boston last year, and just to ask them off the record, I said, well, you guys told me this and told me that about him, and almost to a man what they have said is that, Larry, once a kid signs with Kentucky, you can't very well say, well, I think he's got flaws in his game and this and that. Because he said that's not how you play the recruiting game, and have these college coaches keep coming in to see you by knocking a guy that's going there, but that maybe Boston had a lot of flaws in his game and probably wasn't a top 10 recruit, but yet that's where he got rated. And now we're seeing, he's good, but he's not extraordinary.
Well, and the five-star recruits, there's a big difference between an Anthony Davis and some of the other five stars. There should almost be like a six-star recruit for those like top-of-the-line players.
That's exactly right. And now Kentucky and even Duke and North Carolina are not getting the big bulk of those type of unique stars. Those guys are spreading out around the country and then heading to the NBA the next year with no problem. So what worked really well for Kentucky for a while is not quite working as well right now, and the recruiting class for next year is pretty well already solidified, and I don't know if they're going to be able to find anybody else to add or not, but I sure would like to see them try to find a shooter or two, and then if they do get a shooter or two, try to use him, not keep him sitting on the bench like you did with Dante Allen for 7 games, which I think makes it hard to recruit shooters because you see Johnny Juzang had to leave, and you see how Allen's not got to play a lot this year, and you see Michael Mulder, who didn't get to play a whole lot at Kentucky. Now he's on the Golden State Warriors roster. So kids that are just pure shooters, I mean, they got to think, well, maybe coming to Kentucky is not the best for me because if I'm not real long and real athletic and do all these things, shooting the ball doesn't seem to be a priority at Kentucky.
It certainly is strange to see Kentucky with the record they have right now. And, crystal ball time, looking ahead, are any teams from the Bluegrass State going to make the NCAA tournament this year?
Well, I think Western will, don't you?
I think so. It almost looks like they have to win their conference tournament, though. Maybe they could get in as an at-large, but it's really tough.
Yeah, I think they might be in position because that win over Alabama is really going to help their NCAA resume when it gets down to that. They still got to finish the season pretty strong, and Louisville is still in position, but they've got a lot of tough games coming up. So it could well be a second straight year with no teams from Kentucky playing an NCAA tournament. Of course, last year there wasn't one, but this year we may just not have anybody good enough when all is said and done to get in there. Even though I still think Louisville may get enough wins to get in, and I'm hoping Western can.
Hey, Larry, I appreciate your time this morning. And just one more question. Who do you have in the Super Bowl?
It's just hard for me to pick against Kansas City. I thought when the season started they just were so good that they would be the team to beat, but the old guy in me would sure like to see Tom Brady win one and just be able to say, take that, Bill Belichick.
Hey, Larry, as always, appreciate the time. Have to get you back on here again sometime real quick.
Anytime, Todd. You just give me a holler.
All right, thanks. Have a great day.
Okay.
That is Larry Vaught, longtime UK sports writer, and we appreciate him being generous with his time this morning here on the show. Misty Porter is in the studio with us, and we'll talk Caldwell County Youth Incorporated sports with her in just a minute. Right now, though, need to get to a break here on the show. We'll be back with more on the Sideline Report after this on 1580 103.3 WPKY.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Raider Auction Company.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast. Sunny skies today, going to be just a little bit warmer than we were yesterday. A high of 36 degrees. Tonight, overnight low down to 22 under mostly clear skies. Mostly sunny skies on Friday. A high of 43. 49 the high Saturday. May start the day off with a light wintry mix, but then rain showers expected Saturday afternoon into Sunday, and high of 49 on Sunday. Sunshine through the day today, though, a high of 36.
Deer season's right around the corner, so if you happen to bag that big buck with your vehicle, let Trice Hughes' Collision Center go to work for you. Call or stop by for a free estimate.
Great people make up our home team at Trice Hughes. Trice Hughes is here for you and any questions you may have about your vehicle. Buy your next vehicle from the home team. Find them on Highway 91 North, Princeton, or at tricehughes.com.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's here. The Loyal Listener Big Deal Store is online and waiting for you to shop and buy gift certificates to local businesses. Go to WPKYonline.com. Click on Loyal Listener Big Deals. Here you'll find dozens and dozens of gift certificates. Some you'll even be able to redeem from your smartphone. Shop and buy 24 hours a day and save a ton of money in the process. Save on oil changes, dining out, haircuts, car washes, and more. Our store never closes, but you better hurry. You never know how long each deal will last.
We are back on the Sideline Report here on 1580 103.3 WPKY. Good Thursday morning. Again, thanks to Larry Vaught for coming on and giving us a lot of good information about the University of Kentucky football and basketball teams. And hopefully basketball gets things straightened out and can move on and have a strong finish to the season. Misty Porter from Caldwell County Youth Incorporated joins us in the studio now. And Misty, first of all, thanks for coming in this morning. And how are things going with the Youth Incorporated leagues?
Everything's going really good right now. Of course, at first before Christmas, we had COVID, thick and heavy going on, which I think we do still, but we're learning how to maintain things. But started out slow, try to get some practices in. We had to stop for couple weeks, and but we got it started back up the 1st of January. So now last Saturday started our first round of games. So
I was going to say it's kind of like the high school season. Everything just got pushed back, and I don't think we were ever completely sure we were going to start until we actually started.
Right. Yeah, we've been fortunate, Caldwell County, with our league right now. 3rd through 6th grade, we have been continuing practice. So that's, like I said, we've been fortunate to be able to still practice, maybe scrimmage a little bit, but now we've got the game schedule going. I finally finalized that yesterday. So that is finalized to February 20th, I believe. So,
yeah. What are some changes that have had to be made because of COVID this year?
We are going by the Kentucky High School Athletic Association guidelines, and that means we can only have so many in the gym capacity-wise. At Butler Gym, we are cleaning in between games. Of course, face mask is worn at all times for any family, fans, and players. If they're not in, we try to let them, because they're smaller, they don't understand. We try to remind them keep those masks on. So anything that you see at a high school game, we are trying to do that as well as for Youth Incorporated. So.
Well, so about 15% capacity for attendance?
And we don't even reach that. I mean, there's very few in there. I know there's several grandparents that I have talked to that says, well, we'll just hear about it because we're not going to put ourselves out there right now, and I totally understand that. I mean, Butler Gym is big enough where we can social distance, and so that is, we're just trying to maintain that. Concession stand, we don't have one. That kind of puts that off, so we don't have to worry about that either. So.
How are the numbers and the program this year? Because with football, we saw a bit of a downturn because of COVID. Right. Is that the same thing in basketball, or are the numbers kind of up this year?
I really, to be honest with you, I'm not for sure since this is my first year with basketball. But for 3rd and 4th grade boys, we got 5 teams. That's very unusual for me.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's good. 5th and 6th grade boys, we've got 3 teams. 5th and 6th grade girls, we have 2 teams for 5th and 6th grade girls, but we are combining them right now because they're going to play Lyon County and Trigg County. And with the numbers that we have, it's better for us to combine them. But then we have 2 3rd and 4th grade class, which is really good because they've got anywhere from 8 to 9 girls on that. And that's, for me, that's thrilling because you don't see that many girls coming out for basketball anymore. So.
In the past, Youth Incorporated has kind of had to be creative as far as putting teams together and finding games and maybe trying to play some all-star kind of games. Is that something that still goes on?
Yes. Usually you have the 5th District League that is usually going on right now. I know Youth Incorporated has games within themselves before Christmas, and then the 5th District League takes over, right after Christmas. That is not happening this year. The only ones I can find that has agreed to play us is Trigg County and Lyon County. Crittenden is, with high school starting later, of course, after Christmas, it has pushed everything back and it's crowded. And, you don't have very many people that will jump ahead and get in there and get things done. But as of right now, Crittenden don't have anything. Dawson don't have anything. Livingston's not having anything. So, but I did reach out to Trigg and Lyon County, and they agreed to play us right now. And when we do go over to their place, they're holding the same guidelines that we are. So that's, just to kind of relieve some of the parents' minds, because I know they've asked a lot of questions about, the COVID guidelines. They're doing the same as we are, so.
One thing that's kind of good this year, you see the high school coaches and players out there helping, and that's always big because to me, I think those younger kids look up to those older kids, and the youth leagues are kind of how you build your high school program anyway.
That's exactly right, and that's one reason I'm glad I'm doing this, because being what I do at night as referee high school basketball, my big pet peeve is fundamentals, and you see in high school right now, very lacking of fundamentals, and that's what Coach Mitchell, I've talked to him about, and Coach K, that when they receive these players at the high school level, they don't want to have to take a step back and teach those fundamentals. That's up to your youth program. And Coach Mitchell and I know Dustin Cash has been out there, and they have really stepped up and helped us. I know Coach Mitchell has went to some of the girls' practices and helped out there, just trying to teach those basic fundamentals. But like I said, that was my big thing, because I've also revamped some of the rules. As far as, they was playing 20-minute halves. I don't like that. Talked to some of the coaches about it, talked to some of the board members about it, and we've changed that. Just little things. My thing with the referees, when they call a walk, I want them to explain to them, okay, this is what you did wrong, here's how to correct it. And so that's what we're doing right now is, that's when it gets stuck in their mind. And when those high school players do come out and help, I remember that as a child when I was out there practicing, remember certain ones coming in. And that sticks with you because you just, something about it, you just, look up to those. So.
Well, and you mentioned you're still calling high school basketball games. Have you gotten used to the opening coin flip yet?
I mean, I'm just going to be honest. I don't like it. I'm not a very good coin tosser anyway, but I do miss the jump ball. I mean, just to flip the ball in the air is like the beginning of the basketball game, and just to be honest, it probably will never come back. You'll probably see a coin flip from here on out. So it's kind of sad, but it's just weird.
It just takes some getting used to for sure.
Yeah.
What are some COVID things that you guys as officials now have to kind of be conscious of at each game?
Yeah, things, of course, it's just different anymore. You have your, I wear a gaiter around my neck, so it's there to pull it on and off to talk to coaches, because if the coaches doesn't have it on there, on their face, we're not allowed to go there and talk to them until we tell them, put your mask on or make a signal or something to where we can go over there and talk to them. You have your athletes, your players on the floor wants to come up to you and ask a question. You're having to stumble trying to get your mask on because you can't talk to them until you do. You have to turn your head. So just, anything about the mask, and, just telling the coaches too, your assistant coaches wear their masks, their players wear their masks. We really are not mask police, but it's just something Julian Tackett sent out over email, wear your mask. And so we try to always remember to wear our masks besides run up and down the floor. Timeouts, we try to put them on. So it's just, it's something different, but something we have to get used to.
Yeah, I've even noticed a few referees during a timeout, of course, when the game's going on, I guess you're okay without it, but during a timeout, I've seen one referee kind of signal to another, put your mask on, and then, which, you forget. I mean, we forget that it's there sometimes.
Yeah, our other big thing is switching the basketballs in and out. With a dead ball, we've got to make sure we switch those basketballs out. If somebody other than the players or the referees touch it, we have to switch that ball out. So that is something else that we have to do. Instead of checking one ball before the game, we're checking 3 or 4 balls before the game. So, again, it's just something different. But if it's meant for those kids to play, we're going to do it. So
yeah, when the ball comes my way, when I'm taking pictures, I used to always just grab it and throw it back. Now I try to hit it with a foot or a knee or something. So because I know if I touch it with my hands, they're going to throw it out anyway. So it didn't help any. So
yeah, it's interesting. It is. It's very interesting. I mean, the first game of the season, you had cheerleaders wanting to be nice, and we're like, don't touch it. And so they didn't understand. They really didn't, and why they couldn't. And then we finally had time to explain to them, and they're like, oh, we're so sorry. Yeah. So they run away from it instead of trying to help us. So.
Talking with Caldwell County Youth Incorporated League Director Misty Porter. Need to get to a break here on the show, but we'll be back with more after this here on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Community Medical.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast. Sunny skies today. Going to be just a little bit warmer than we were yesterday. A high of 36 degrees. Tonight, overnight low down to 22 under mostly clear skies. Mostly sunny skies on Friday. A high of 43. 49 the high Saturday. May start the day off with a light wintry mix, but then rain showers expected Saturday afternoon into Sunday, and high of 49 on Sunday. Sunshine through the day today, though, a high of 36.
Did you know 7 out of 10 people overspent during the holidays and are now worried about recovering from this?
If you're one of the 7, don't worry, we can help at ABC Finance.
Hi, this is Jody Lamb at the Princeton ABC Finance location.
And this is Todd Morris at the Hopkinsville location.
And we can help you recover from the holidays with easy payments you can afford.
At ABC Finance, we provide loans up to $15,000.
We are locally owned and staffed, and decisions are made quickly, usually within an hour.
Apply online at abcfinanceonline.com.
You can even give us a call, and we will take your application over the phone.
To view social distancing guidelines and safety measures, like and follow ABC Finance Company on Facebook. ABC Finance is located off Fort Campbell Boulevard in Hopkinsville next to O'Charlie's, and in Princeton in the Princeton Plaza. ABC Finance, all loans subject to normal credit approval.
This is the Sideline Report on 1580, 103.3 WPKY. Again, thanks to Larry Vaught for joining us this morning, talking right now with Misty Porter and talking about Caldwell County Youth Incorporated. But I do want to get back to one thing about the high school games and the coin flip before the game. Maybe a lot of people haven't even realized that, especially, attendance is kind of limited and a lot of people are watching online these days. But the reason for that is that's just another close contact that they're trying to get out of the game. So that's why there's no jump ball anymore.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, they said they're face-to-face starting the game, and, the referees are right there with them, and I can see that, but then they're face-to-face when they're down on the ground or, blocking each other's shots. But, it is what it is. So, but just to get the game played, I can flip a coin, so to get it done. So. Well,
I never really liked the alternating possession anyway. I would prefer to have a jump ball every time there's a jump ball.
Yeah.
But that's never going to happen again.
No, it's not. And, like I said, I like tossing that ball because I don't know what it is. It's just the beginning of the game. But
well, it's the opening tip. That's how you start the game. But at this point, whatever it takes, though, to get games in.
Right. And I know I've had a couple of parents, said some things like, I just don't understand it. They're making them wear their mask or, you're doing this, and this. And I said, hey, I'll put on a hazmat suit if I needed to for these kids to play ball because it's some normalcy for them. So, the same thing with Youth League. Whatever we got to do is give them, what they're used to playing ball. So.
Well, and we're kind of fortunate in Kentucky anyway. I noticed Illinois just announced they were starting things up, but only a limited number of games. And from what I can tell, no postseason tournaments.
No, we are very fortunate. If you'll go to different states and see what they have, I forgot where it was at. They're just opening everything up. Like you said, Illinois has just decided to, start playing games. So I do know there's several from Illinois that has moved to Kentucky for the kids to be able to play. So it's just, it's sad, but, I understand that we also got to realize what we're living in today, too.
Well, and Graves County is one of those schools that had a couple of kids from Illinois. I don't know if that's the reason, but they had 2 kids from Illinois moved in and just got approved to play last week, I believe.
Last Friday, because I had the Lyon County, Grace County game at Lyon, and they just got approved that morning to be able to play that night against Lyon County. So, it is interesting. I've heard several from Harrisburg, Illinois coming over trying to play. Maybe it was at Henderson or somewhere. I don't know if that happened or not, but there was just, kids are wanting to play ball, kids wanting to have the normal stuff anymore. So. Yeah,
there was even a time when it looked like Kentucky might not play some sports that kids here were actually talking about going to Clarksville in Tennessee and trying to play. So thankfully Kentucky kind of got everything figured out.
Right, yeah. We're fortunate, we are, and I'm thankful. We got to do baseball and softball last summer, and I didn't even think that would even happen, and it did. And now, with basketball, I'm just thankful that, these kids, maybe with softball and high school baseball, it will continue into that because I know they didn't have their season last year, so.
I think getting outside will be a big deal as far as sports goes.
I do. Being inside, you're compacted in, and outside, you're outside. It's totally different. So I hope we just keep rolling with it. This Saturday we've got 5 games at the Butler Gym. We got Tree County girls coming over, and some of our boys are going to Tree County to play. So I just hope that keeps going because interaction with other kids is what these kids need right now. So.
Speaking of Youth Incorporated and looking ahead, what's kind of the plan for baseball, softball, and t-ball this summer?
Same thing. We are, we're very happy to be able. We're already starting to look into, the season. We're going to hold softball and baseball sign-ups the end of February. So everyone be looking for that. I know we're looking right now for dates to have an assessment day. I don't know. I'm trying to hold that indoors so we don't have to keep pushing it back because of weather and stuff. So I'm trying to find somewhere indoors we can hold that. So, but be looking for that. And then I'm trying to think. We have a meeting for baseball and softball with our other counties. I believe it's the end of March to get our schedule ready. So I'm hoping Gary Goodacre will stand up and help me again with that, because he's very great when he does that. So, but yeah, that's what we're looking at. So everybody, I'll try to get some things out to the school and get that ready. But we'll probably do it like we did last time. Just drive up at the ballpark, drop it off, and you can leave. So.
All right. Well, good luck with that, and great to see the kids out there playing. And I agree with you. I didn't think we would get the youth leagues played last summer, and we did. I didn't think there would be a lot of high school sports in the fall, and we got those played. I wasn't sure how they would do basketball and wrestling, but those things are going on.
Yep.
So,
it's interesting. I'm just, the kids, this is what we do it for, is to get the kids ready and prepared for that high school level. So, because I try to keep up with a young man from Caldwell County that plays at Georgetown.
Darian Boyd, yeah.
Yes. I try to, see what he's doing, and he keeps excelling at what he's doing right now. And that's what we want these future Tigers to look forward to. So, and that's why we're doing what we're doing. So I enjoy it.
All right, just one more question. Who do you have in the Super Bowl? Is big game for you, or?
I'm just, my husband is and my son is both high school referees, and of course they talk about it a lot. But, my husband, I would say, is a Brady fan. Taylor really doesn't say very much, so I would just have to say I'm just sit there and eat the good food and watch it.
All right, well, thanks for coming in. I appreciate the update on Youth Incorporated.
Thank you for having me. Thanks.
That's Misty Porter of Caldwell County Youth Incorporated. Again, Larry Vaught joining us earlier in the show. We appreciate him coming on the Sideline Report today. That's going to wrap us up. This is Todd Griffin. Thanks for listening to the Sideline Report here on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
WPKY Princeton.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. President Biden signs executive orders on health care today, giving people another chance to sign up for insurance through the Affordable Care Act.
Americans will be able to sign up for Obamacare during a special 3-month enrollment period starting February 15th. The president will also issue a memorandum rolling back the Mexico City policy, which bans giving federal money to non-government organizations that provide abortions.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland. The economy grew at a 4% annual rate in the last quarter of last year. It shrank 3.5% overall in